All right. Shalom, shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and salutations to the Akim out there, spreading this truth like wildfire, and in all truthfulness and in all sincerity. And shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect out there. This video is going to be about a potential false flag on the so-called month of Ramadan, done by Esau Edom through the Israeli military and intelligence services and blamed on Hamas. And I believe it's a real potential, and that's why I'm doing this video. And it could lead to a lot of things. It could lead to a lot of prophecies coming to pass. So basically, you got this article, and it's basically warning of an attack. Will Ramadan be the last chance for Hamas? By Mark to Toth and Jonathan Sweet, opinion contributors 3/10/24, 7 a.m. Eastern Time. Today is the start of Ramadan, a 30-day period in the Islamic lunar calendar of fasting, abstinence, and reflective prayer. It may also be Hamas's last desperate chance to survive Israel's incursion into the Gaza Strip, which came in response to the terrorist group's October 7th attack against Israeli civilians. Which you look into that, it was staged, and the Israeli government knew it was happening, and they participated in it. Mohammed Daif, and Yahya Sinwar, Hamas's titular military leaders in Gaza, are fast running out of options. Which, that's not entirely true. But this is Esau's media we're talking about. But anyways, are fast running out of options as the Israeli Defense Force IDF closes in on their last remaining positions in southern Gaza, instigating a third bloody intifada or uprising against Israeli civilians. But I'm gonna show you what could really happen. May well be in their minds the only escape from total military defeat. In that vein, this year's Ramadan is ripe for added unrest. Israel's on guard in Jerusalem's old city is ground zero. The Temple Mount, or Al-Haram al-Sharif, as it is known in Arabic, is a kinetic flashpoint every year during Ramadan. In 2021, an 11-day war between Israel and Hamas erupted after what the Associated Press described as days of clashes between Palestinian protesters and Israeli police at the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And they're going to restrict it. Read on. I think they mentioned that. Hamas, to justify its October 7th terrorist attack, codenamed quote-unquote Al-Aqsa flood in reference to Temple Mount, issued a 16-page manifesto in January entitled quote-unquote Our Narrative. The group blamed the assault on Israeli quote-unquote Judaization plans to the blessed Al-Aqsa Mosque, quote-unquote, and what they described as quote-unquote Israeli settlers' incursions into the Holy Mosque in 2022 during the month of Ramadan, which they have a record of actually trying to trigger these people by fucking with their mosques and shit. Look it up. In fact, Ramadan 2023 was relatively quiet. As Jonathan Chanzer, okay, this is what they say, right? and Mark Dubowitz of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, which that's not a democracy over there, it's an oligarchy, as America is. Political protests over a potential proposed judicial overhaul overshadowed the Palestinian arena. And the reason behind the Ramadan 2023 low is clear in retrospect. Diaf and Sinwar were planning October 7th in partnership with Iran's Islamic. See, they're already blaming Iran, which they will for this as well. In partnership with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, Hamas was calculatedly intent on avoiding wide-scale conflict with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's new government, and so it could unleash a bigger attack against southern Israel. Ramadan was a tool to be wielded when needed by Hamas or sheathed if it served Deif and Sinwar's broader purposes. This is why this year Ramadan has the potential to be particularly violent. This is true not just in Israel but in the broader Middle East, including for the US troops positioned in Iraq and Syria and aboard naval vessels in the Eastern Mediterranean. Oh, like that ship, that aid ship that's going to deliver aid. That could be a setup for a false flag. Violence could even envelop service members stationed at Camp Lemonnier in Djibouti, the base that houses U.S. Africa's Combined Joint Force for the Horn of Africa. Hamas, which they would blame on the Houthis, or maybe but if they start this war, there's going to be war with, well, not maybe, there will be war with the Houthis as well. Hamas needs to act soon, and Russian President Vladimir Putin and Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei need to need to act soon. Needed to act soon, which they're saying they're all in coordination and shit. You know, that's what Amalek is saying here, what Esau is saying here. You know, the accuser. When they set Hamas up, the Amalekites, the so-called, well, the Israelis, because Israeli just means an inhabitant of the land of Israel, and they are, or a citizen of the state of Israel, which they are. He used Hamas's heinous war crimes against. It's a biased article, but I'm bringing it out to prove a point. As a cover for his counteroffensive against Advika in eastern Ukraine. Now, especially in light of French President Emmanuel Macron's bold threat last week to place French troops in Ukraine, Putin needs yet another distraction. So they're saying that he's pulling the strings. They're already blaming him. Ramadan could be his means to that end. It would also serve Iran well. Khamenei has used October 7th, the war between Hamas and Israel, to distract the West's attention from his relentless pursuit of a nuclear arsenal. Tehran, which they could be doing, you know, I would too if I was them. Tehran has already likely achieved nuclear breakout, the capability to assemble a nuclear weapon, and is now zeroed in on testing and developing delivery mechanisms. Khamenei and the RGC know a day of reckoning is coming. By bogging down Israel and the idea for a potential third intifada during and after Ramadan, Tehran could gain valuable time to prepare for military and accelerate its militarily and accelerate its nuclear program even more. Russian and Iranian planning for this alignment of the stars. It might literally happen on that eclipse too. I wouldn't be surprised because it's during Ramadan. Russian and Iranian planning for this alignment of the stars. Alignment of the stars might already be underway. Earlier this month, the Kremlin hosted a meeting in Moscow between Hamas and Fatah, the political body that controls the West Bank. Ostensibly, the Red Square Summit was billed as a reconciliation effort between the two Palestinian factions, but it was more likely an effort by Putin to pitch Diaf, Sinwar, and the Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas on the idea of an escalation, which is what they say. This is what Amalek says. Keep that in mind. Consider the source. Such action could effectively de escalate NATO and Ukrainian IDF in the Gaza Strip and West Bank. Okay, there's no added restrictions this year on the number of Muslims allowed to worship at the Al Harim al Sharif during Ramadan. Yeah, they might. They're saying they might start a regional, sparking intifada or rod or regional war. But they're basically, let's see what this devil is. These two devils are. Mark Mark Toth writes on national security and foreign policy. Colonel retired Jonathan Sweet served. He's probably an Amalekite, but he could just be a regular Edomite, but they're devils nonetheless. I don't know, that sounds like an Amalekite sort of name. Colonel retired Jonathan Sweet served 30 years as a military intelligence officer. Who's Mark Toth? He's a blue check. Eh, he's an insider, obviously. He's a blue check insider, and the other dude is intelligence, meaning he's a spy. So they could be. This could be sort of like predictive programming for it, and they could very well stage this attack on that aid ship. As you can see, U.S. military ship heading to Gaza to build port. A U.S. military ship is sailing towards the Middle East, carrying equipment to build a temporary pier off the coast of Gaza, the Army says. The support ship, General Frank S. Besson, set sail from a military base in the state of Virginia on Saturday. It comes after President Joe Biden said the U.S. would build the floating harbor to help get aid into Gaza by sea. The U.S. has warned that famine in the Gaza Strip is almost inevitable and children are starving to death. The U.S. and Jordan carried out the airdrop on Sunday, parachuting in more than 11,500 meals that included rice, flour, pasta, and canned food, the U.S. military said. Aid deliveries by land and air have proved difficult and dangerous. The World Food Program had to pause land deliveries after its convoys came under gunfire and looting. And on Friday, there were reports that 5 people had been killed by a falling aid package when its parachute failed to open properly. The U.S. ship departed less than 36 hours after Mr. Biden made his announcement, U.S. Central Command wrote on X. It is carrying the first equipment to establish a temporary pier to deliver vital humanitarian supplies to Gaza. The statement continued. The Pentagon has said it could take up to 30 days to build the pier, with the help of 1,000 troops, none of whom would go ashore. Charities have said that those suffering in Gaza cannot wait that long. Meanwhile, the 8th ship laden with some 200 tons of food is expected to sail from a port in Larnaca, Cyprus, Sunday afternoon. Cypriot media reports. It follows the EU announcement that a new sea route would be opened over the weekend to allow aid to sail directly from Cyprus, the closest EU country to Gaza. The ship Open Arms belongs to the Spanish charity of the same name, and the food on board has been provided by US charity World Central Kitchen. It is unclear how any aid delivered by sea would get safely to shore before the US pier is built. Gaza has no functioning port, and the surrounding waters are too shallow for large vessels. However, Oscar Camps, the founder of Open Arms, has told but you get the point, man. You get the point. That could be a target of a false flag staged by the Israelis to get the U.S. involved in that war in Gaza and get them in so they can go after Hezbollah. And they would draw them into World War III, all according to prophecy. And then they could stage an attack in the U.S. against, blame it on the so-called migrants. Blame it on one of them that was. They'll say one of them or a couple of them or even many of them were terrorists, and they carried out this attack. And I could very well see that happening. And this could justify a lot of things. It could justify the U.S. getting involved in the war in the so-called Middle East, getting drawn in, like prophecy says. Jeremiah 50:25. Therefore hear ye the counsel of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai that he hath taken against Babylon and his proposed purposes in Babylon's America, FYI, and his purposes that he had purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Verse 46, at the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations. And it also says the same about Esau. Verse 20, therefore hear ye this counsel of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he had proposed against the inhabitants
Therefore
of
hear the counsel.
Esau. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Verse 21, the earth is moved at the noise of their fall. At the cry, their noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. And so this is prophesied to happen. The least of the flock shall draw them in. And also, the stage, and this could be how they do it, real slick like a serpent, like Esau. Because they are Esau. But this is like real sneaky, like is what I mean. Like a cunning hunter, Esau. More like that, right? A cunning hunter sneak up on you. More like that. That's how they do it. But this could but these devils know that they're running out of time. So that's why they may pull this as well. Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea,
Therefore, rejoice.
Ah, shit, I hate when that happens. For the devil has come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Verse 13. And when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child. And this could bring about Jacob's trouble, because they could end up passing a law or an unrighteous decree that says that if to tell between who's legal and who's illegal, we need to chip people entering at port of entries at the border. That way, oh, and also to tell who's who as well, and to know where they're at. We need to chip people coming in at the border. You know, Biden might push this. I was thinking this sort of solution would happen under Trump, but Biden might push this solution after an attack to so-called save face. And then it'll go, it'll you know, they'll start, it'll put the pressure on our people to get the chip, because the authorized people, well, the authorized law enforcement to arrest anyone that basically stop anyone, detain anyone who looks like they could be a migrant, and they'll check their chip, check and see if they have a chip, and check it. Instead of check, where's your papers? Instead of papers, please, it's gonna be chip, please, hand, please. I could very well see the CHIP being implemented in this way. Revelation 13 and 16. And causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Verse 18. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. You know, and that's of course the RFID chip. When you go into the Greek words, charagma, and then talk, talks about the type of mark it is, and then karox, the delivery system, and grapho, meaning it'll have all your information in it. It'll be written in it. That's what grapho implies. And you know, also stigma, the last word there for 666. The words are chi, psi, stigma. And one of the last word is stigma, which goes also into the delivery system. They're gonna stick it in you. Stick and stigma go back to the same word, design, I believe. Uh, etymology, etymologically, when you look up the etymology of that word. But yeah, this could be a way that Esau implements the charagma, and I would not be surprised if he implements it this way. I've talked about many ways that he could implement the charagma on this channel, but these are all these are all possibilities he could do it. You know, he's gonna do it. These are all just different possibilities, different roads to the charagma, if you will. And this could definitely be it. I could be wrong about this being it, but I could be right, and that's why I'm making this video. I could definitely be right, because this is definitely something that Esau might be planning. And this is also a way that they could draft people because, as well as, maybe one of the reasons why they let in so many military age males to, basically recruit them for the military in exchange for citizenship. I went over how there is a Courage to Serve Act being proposed in Congress, and this is how that could be sped up. We need men to fight this war, and then they could draft people too, which they have been planning to do. And let me get this right here. You so-called Venezuelan Jakes, Venezolanos, and other Northern Kingdom Jakes, other Northern Kingdom Jakes that came over here, you know, hey, it was a setup. These devils didn't do it out of the kindness of their heart. It was a setup. Let me get Joel 2 and 20. But I will remove far from you the northern army, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face toward the east sea, and his hinder part towards the utmost sea. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he hath done great things. This could be a way. And let me get something else. Yo, Second Ezra 16 and 33. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. And what they also may be doing to prevent capture of their soldiers, they may, order that soldiers be chipped up, be hipped up. I wouldn't be surprised. In fact, they're probably going to do that. But yeah, these devils, they're about to come down with great wrath, get the ball rolling. In this, get the ball rolling when it comes to Jacob's trouble, when it comes to the MOTB, and when it comes to World War III. You know, Revelation 11, I believe 8, 14. The second woe is past, and below the third woe cometh quickly. The third woe is the Third World War. The first woe was the First World War. The second woe was the Second World War. And the third woe is the Third World War. But yeah, with that, I hope this video is edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and salutations to the Akim out there, spreading this truth like wildfire, in all truthfulness and in all sincerity. And shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect out there. And shalom. Oh, and Ababa Ball, death to Babylon. Abala Adwamium, death to these Edomites. Abala Gwayam, death to these other nations. Abala Ayabyam Nawa, death to our enemies, the rest of them being 2/3 of you so-called black people, Latinos, Native Americans, and you Israelite foreigners, aka speckled birds looking like the other nations who live here in Babylon. Death to y'all, 2/3 of y'all as well. And it will come, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai will bring it. As well as death is also coming to you wicked as Israelites scattered to the four corners of the earth who don't live here in Babylon, and who will not repent, and who won't move to Babylon anytime soon, and who will not repent. Shalom, well, who won't move to Babylon before its destruction, and who will not repent. Shalom, stay strong. Ababa Ball, Yashrala forever. Shalom.